I would call the sort of typical growing pains from being an opposition party to a governing party.
The Energy and Commerce Committee into its 20th hour.
We're working with every single member of the House and the Senate who's interested in getting to a solution. I believe it's going to pass.
Illegal immigration into the United States from our southern border has dropped 40%.
We have confirmation that U.S. Marines are on the ground in Syria.
It's a major operation. We'll kill thousands of ISIS soldiers.
The FBI is on the hunt for a mole inside the CIA.
They are not only interested in who the mole is, they're interested in who's spying on Americans unlawfully.
What's really great about this book, you can go cover to cover in about 15, 20 seconds. When I observed their record, and I realized it was probably best to just leave all the pages blank.
Lucky guy slot on the wall is one lucky guy. He's on the arms of another cheerleader as we give you the Marquette, I guess,
Marching band.
Yeah, the marching band and their cheerleaders.
Sure.
Because the Selection Sunday is Sunday.
So the Selection Sunday is when the bracket's chosen, right?
But first you have your Big East tournament. All these tournaments are playing, these conference tournaments they're all teams are playing each other.
Okay. And it started last night and Selection Sunday, and they're playing Uptown Funk, but we're Midtown, so I think right now it's Midtown Funk, isn't it?
And Steve, as you know, Fox Sports won the rights to televise the Big East.
Yep.
So Fox Sports 1 is where you can watch all the action, including Marquette in action.
All right, who's going to win this year?
Villanova.
They won last year, right?
They win a lot.
I want to see how the whole thing's going to lay out, and I'm going to be doing the bracket on TV Newser.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Wait,
So there's a lot of
I
pressure
won
on
that bracket one year, so I'll go against you. I'll go up against you. I don't know who the teams are, but I might win.
I won the company bracket a couple of years ago, but I didn't actually do it. I had my daughter do it, and she picked them all based on the mascot.
So what they do on TV News is they get all the journalists from all different networks to compete against each other. And one year I filled it out. My husband actually filled it out.
Well,
and I won. I think I won, or maybe I came in second. I can't remember.
Anyway.
But anyway.
You
so,
can't remember?
Clearly, it's not really my thing.
All right, let's talk March Madness, and it's happening actually on Capitol Hill. This is a Fox News alert. The House Ways and Means Committee passed the Republican legislation to fix Obamacare by replacing it at 4:17 this morning. You're looking live at Steve Scalise. He's the House Majority Whip, and what he's doing is he's trying to whip up members of the Energy and Commerce Committee to vote for it as well.
They're still debating. They've had nothing but delays from Democrats who do not want to see Obamacare. They would like to see it implode right in front of their eyes. So they wanted to extend it. They don't want to see this happen. So they've been up. I mean, obviously, they've been up 24 hours. A lot of people said, this is my Wednesday outfit. I have yet to even lay out my Thursday outfit, even though we're in the middle of Thursday. So once it gets out of committee, they're still going to have a hard time getting to the 2:15.
Yeah, I know. They should be in their pajamas. I saw one congresswoman. She had her glasses on. I guess she took out her contacts. You know, being up all night, your eyes start to hurt. The Democrats have 100 amendments to offer. They're dragging out this process. They even said, listen, we're going to read the entire bill out loud. We want it read out loud because we want to know what's in it. And that would delay and cause them to be there a little bit longer.
But that's all they got. I mean, it's going to wind up passing, but they are doing regular order where there is debate. There are these amendments added. But it is all for naught. Eventually, Paul Ryan will get his vote. The big question is...
But do you think he's got it already? I don't.
No, I said he would get his vote. I don't mean he's going to get the total. There's an item in Breitbart right now that says that Senator Rand Paul says that Paul Ryan misled the President of the United States about the support that he would have in Congress. In other words, Paul Ryan sits down with the President and says, hey, yeah, it's in the bag. Not going to be a problem. Rand Paul is one of the U.S. senators who said it is Obamacare light. It is dead on arrival. He's not the only one. Susan Collins of Maine doesn't like it. There are 8 Republicans in the Senate who are reluctant to support it. One of them was Ted Cruz, who was invited over to the White House last night along with his wife Heidi and their 2 children for dinner with the president. The president is in cell mode right now.
He's in full cell mode, and he's doing everything from the bowling next week to the dinner, to having Lindsey Graham over for lunch, to taking the cruises out for dinner. Not on a cruise, but I think that
that would be a fun dinner.
In the big picture, the president's really got to understand what everyone's hot button is. Right away, he's in great conversations, consistent conversation with Senator Rand Paul, who's been calling him. He says the president will call you if he thinks you're not on board yet, and that's what he's doing. My thing is, are you taking input or you're just listening? Are you going to listen to what Rand Paul says? So Cassidy and Collins has a bill, and one of their provisions is you can keep Obamacare in your state if you want to keep Obamacare in your state. So go ahead, answer to your constituents. You can have this bad bill if you want, if you have a Democratic governor that likes it, or Governor Kasich that seems to adore it. So if not, I don't think that Rand Paul necessarily agrees with that. But everyone has their own reasons. So if you're listening and can weave something in, that's the way the process should be.
If it's good for the American people, and if it's a great idea. We interviewed Tom Price, the Health and Human Services Secretary, earlier on the show, and to your point, he said we were talking about the number of votes in the Senate that you need, and you have these eight skeptical senators. You said. Yeah. The vote needs to pass by 51 votes. There are 52 Republicans. So if you have 8 of them who are skeptical, it might not pass.
You have 2 drop out, you're dead.
Right. So we were asking him about it earlier. This is what he said, saying why we have to fix this, why we have to repeal and replace. Listen.
That's the first step in this process. Energy and Commerce Committee is still going in the House, as you mentioned. But it's important for people to appreciate, once again, why this is all being done. And it's being done because the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare as folks know it, has been a disaster for people on the individual and small group market. Premiums are going up. Deductibles are going up. People are getting priced out of the market. We've got 1/3 of the counties in this country that only have one insurer. 5 states only have one insurer. We learned this past week that there are some counties in both Tennessee and Mississippi who next year will have no insurer at all. This plan does not work. It's a failed plan. So what we're trying to do is to fix the healthcare system and move it in a direction where patients and families and doctors are making decisions, not the federal government.
Democrats would agree with that, but the problem is a lot of Republicans don't agree with him.
Sure, and I said if 2 Republican senators drop out, you're dead. Actually, you need 3. They could actually lose 2. But here's the thing, and this is part of the negotiation that's going on behind the scenes. The House leadership, and we're going to have Kevin McCarthy on with us in a little bit, is saying, look, we've got to pass this, because if we don't pass this, we're not going to pass tax reform, we're not going to pass infrastructure, all the stuff you want, but you've got to pass this.
And color me naive, but if you actually want to get this done in a way that would be effective in the last 4 years or 8 years, depending on when Donald Trump gets done with office, President Trump is done in office, you got to somehow weave Democrats in. There are Democrats, most of them know, who aren't named Nancy Pelosi, that this is blowing up and has to change. You're not taking a successful program and ripping it up. I think personally, if it was rolling along and was solvent, I think this would be 2 years down the road. This is a flashing light ambulance.
Well, the president had Elijah Cummings in. They talked about how to fix drugs. So maybe there will be some bipartisanship stuff, but that's just something we don't see much on Capitol Hill over the last 8 years. This president made it very clear he is open for negotiation, and Rand Paul said that he doesn't think this thing is going to pass. Ted Cruz said he doesn't think it's going to pass like this, but there could be some changes.
We have Rand Paul coming up on the show. We're going to ask him what he thinks about the latest.
And Jim Jordan said, listen, I want to repeal it, take 2 years, write something else, and then try to convince 7 Democrats to come along with it and get 60. Why don't we do that? But nobody has any faith that they'll ever convince Democrats in the big picture, outside Joe Manchin and maybe John Tester.
Maybe everyone will have a chance they all will have a chance to weigh in on this. It's a 3-phase thing, so hopefully we can all be confident, hopefully, that that all these Republicans who do want to add things in, like Rand Paul, that will happen, and they'll listen to him.
All right. Meanwhile, let's listen to Abby Huntsman. She's got the news, and it starts with a news alert.
Good morning, you guys.
Good morning.
We do start with the Fox News alert. A lot of headlines to get to this morning. The FBI, though, launching a massive investigation to hunt down the mole who leaked the CIA's top secrets. Thousands of agents and contractors. They'll be questioned over the leaks that expose secret hacking programs designed to spy using smartphones and TVs. Well, now WikiLeaks is warning that more documents are on the way, tweeting this. WikiLeaks has released less than 1% of its Vault 7 series in its Part 1 publication yesterday, year 0. And President Trump's Get Tough policies to protect our borders are working.
We must restore integrity and the rule of law at our borders.
Illegal immigrants crossing the southwest border dropping nearly 40% during the president's first month in office. U.S. Customs also revealing border apprehensions are at a 5-year low. Homeland Security calling the drop, quote, unprecedented. Also this, a Women's March organizer with terror ties, one of 13 arrested outside the Trump International Hotel. Linda Sarsour is an anti-Israel activist. Well, police in New York City say she and a dozen others were blocking traffic, protesting on a day without a woman. So far, they have not been charged. Sarsour is known for controversial statements about Israel and has reportedly praised child terrorism on her Twitter account. And First Lady Melania Trump's popularity is climbing. A new CNN poll finding 52% of Americans have a favorable opinion of her. Well, that's up from 36% back in January. 32% have an unfavorable view. The poll also finding more men are in favor of the First Lady than women are. What do you think about that? Good for her.
There you go.
Everyone that knows Melania Trump that I've talked to says she's just one of the nicest people.
Very nice.
Big story how
Strong
she
woman,
lightened
too.
her hair in the Daily News.
That was
the front of her
color?
hair. Yeah, just lightened it a little
Was
bit.
that top of the fold in the New York Times?
I'm just sharing. I'm just building on Abby's point.
You know what? She has been down at Mar-a-Lago, 4 out of the 5 last weekends. Maybe it's the sunshine.
Right.
Sun bleaches your hair.
Write us, friends at FoxNews.com. What do you think?
Which shade do you like her hair?
All right. Meanwhile, straight ahead, 8:11 now here in New York City. A Fox News alert. America's secrets exposed for the entire world to see. Now the search is on for the mole at the CIA. House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy here on that next.
And does taking a selfie make you happy?
It sure made us happy.
What if we told you the government spent $500,000, your tax dollars, trying to find out? And there's more where that came from. We're on the wastewater.
You want, but not the one that government forces you to buy, to purchase across state lines, or to be able to enjoy the ability to join large pooling mechanisms so that you join other individuals, so that you get the purchasing power of millions. And there's so much good that can be had by being able to select a plan that works for you and your family.
Okay, Health and Human Services Secretary Dr. Tom Price weighing in as lawmakers on Capitol Hill are still at it at this hour, pulling an all-nighter and now an all-morninger, debating the Republican replacement for Obamacare. Here's the reaction is House Majority Leader Congressman Kevin McCarthy of California. Congressman, good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you?
Y'all have been burning the midnight oil. I know that House Ways and Means passed their version at 417. What's going on right now in Energy and Commerce?
Well, Energy and Commerce, they're going through theirs. A number of amendments. Democrats are trying to slow it down, and they're continuing their work. Most of that work deals with the Medicaid expansion. Ways and Means dealt with their jurisdiction, repealing of all the taxes within Obamacare. And so we're starting the process. And remember, this is phase 1 of the process. Because of the Senate rules and because we have to go through what is called reconciliation through a budget process, we cannot put everything in the bill when it comes to replacement. The second phase is, as you were seeing, Dr. Tom Price, who a lot of power in the ACA was given to the Secretary. There's 1,400 points within that bill that allows the power of the Secretary. Right. He will be taking his role. And then the third phase, which some of that will even start as we're moving this, those bills that take 60 votes, like getting insurance across state lines, tort reform, and others.
So that's in phase 3. Congressman, I heard that the president was surprised that the across state lines thing wasn't in this first bill.
Yes, and we want it to be in the first bill. The only reason that it is not is because the Senate rules will not allow it to be through reconciliation.
Sure.
But that is something that we will pass this month as we go and have that moved over to the Senate and move for that to become into law as well.
Sure. So that's part of phase 3. Until this week, Kevin, people didn't realize this was a 3-phase plan. People thought, boom, we're going to get it done.
You know, we would love to do it that way, and that's why we've been working so many times to make this go forward, because remember, why are we here today? Obamacare did essentially 3 things. It took control of health care to the federal government. It was the exchanges and the expansion of Medicaid. Well, if you look at the exchanges today, 1/3 of all the counties in America, there's 3,000 counties roughly, 1,022, only have one provider. Some now will have no providers at all. They created 23 co-ops in Obamacare, gave them more than $2 billion. In that short amount of time, 18 of those have failed. And then now Medicaid, the expansion of Medicaid is going to cost us $1 trillion in the 10th year. Well, that's equivalent to all the money we spend in discretionary spending in government today.
Right. Well,
so
Congressman,
it's unsustainable.
No doubt Obamacare, as is working, ain't working. It's got to get fixed. And with this plan, though, I know there is you got a lot of headwinds, particularly in the Senate. I know Paul Ryan has said he's going to get the number of votes he has. But Breitbart's got a story up right now that says that Senator Rand Paul says that Paul Ryan, he feels, misled the president about the amount of support he's got in Congress.
That is just not true. I've been in those meetings with Paul Ryan, with the president. The president supports this plan, is working for this plan. I think everybody should get on board. This is one of 3 phases. If you want to see Obamacare replaced, this is the best opportunity to do it. If you want to see a replacement that lowers the premiums and actually gives greater quality of care, this is the only option we have going forward. If you think you can repeal Obamacare and think you're going to find 60 votes in the Senate, that blame is going to be all upon us for the failure of Obamacare. And I think that is the wrong way to go. We want to solve this problem, and this is the best option, and that's why you will find that this will move through the House and get to the Senate, and as those who read it and see the one of 3 phases will understand why the president backs this plan and believes it's the best move forward.
Okay, 3 phases now. House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy of the great state of California. Kevin, thank you very much for joining us live.
Thank you.
You bet. All right, 8:20 now here in New York City. He is a Christian music superstar, but that almost didn't happen.